Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I had this itch to get some drugstore stuff the other day. I have no idea what it was. I can't explain it, but it was there. So I got on Ulta.com and I went through and got almost a full face of drugstore makeup. Not all of it is new, but obviously it's new to me since I just purchased it. And I just thought that we would do a fall look, get ready with me today using all drugstore makeup. So let's go ahead and get into it. Most of this stuff is still in boxes. I have not tried any of it. So it's going to be first impressions for me. Now, a lot of y'all, again, because I don't know that any of this is actually new. I think maybe the blush might be. So if any of y'all have tried any of it, let me know your thoughts. The only thing I have done is my brows. I have primed my eyes and I put a little bit of Color Science 3-in-1 under my eyes as a corrector. I used to have the Essence corrector, but I gave it to a friend. It's really good though. So I will try to remember to link that down below as a corrector at the drugstore that I like. Let's start with the skin today. And I got the Pixie H2O Skin Tint. I don't know if this is new or not. Feel like I've seen the Beauty Balm for a while, but I don't know if I've seen the Skin Tint. If it's not new, maybe they added more colors, or maybe I'm just making things up. I'm not sure. This is a water-based tinted face gel that evens out skin tone and gives complexion a flawless, no makeup look. It has green tea, rose water, chamomile, and relaxing lavender. It says it's fragrance free though, but it has that stuff in it. So I'm sure it's got some kind of fragrance. From the description, it sounds like it is a version of the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, which I absolutely love, will forever be a favorite. This is how it comes in a long skinny tube with the Pixie colors. It is 1.2 fluid ounces. And I got the color Nude. So I'm just gonna pump some out, and I honestly, somebody's here. Don't know the best way to apply this. It doesn't really give any information on the Ulta website. It just says apply in the middle of the face and blend outwards. So I'm gonna start with my fingers because that's how I like to apply the Bare Minerals. And I'm using the mirror back behind the camera if I'm looking that direction. And I'm just gonna smooth that on one side of the face and see if we can get any kind of coverage. I still see my redness, but this is just a tint. As far as consistency goes, it does feel like the Bare Minerals. It is a little bit cooling. It is more of like a gel-like texture. I do think this color is going to work. You know, it's a skin tint coverage. It's got pretty sheer to light coverage. I can still see some of my redness. I'm gonna try to use a brush on the other side and see if that makes any kind of difference. I was in Target the other day in Florida, actually last week, I guess. And they had testers out for some of their Pixie stuff. And I tried the tester of the Beauty Balm in the same shade. And y'all, it was much lighter than this. So I don't know that the colors are very consistent throughout the brand. So if you do have the Beauty Balm and you wear nude, this might be a little dark on you just from what I saw when I swatched it. Okay, so you can still see my redness coming through, but again, it's a tint. I'm gonna try to build it up just a little bit and then I'm just gonna move on because I don't expect full coverage from this at all. I don't even expect medium coverage. When you buy something that says tint, I think your expectation should be sheer to light coverage. It built up a little bit, but not much. But again, that's okay. It feels good on the skin. I don't really, even though it says it had the lavender and all of that, I do not smell anything, which is good. The main difference between this and the Bare Minerals right off the bat is that this one does not have SPF, where the Bare Minerals does. So if you're someone that does not like SPF in their face products, complexion products, then this might be something to look into. So the concealer I got is definitely not new, but it's one that I have not tried. And I feel like I remember seeing a lot of good reviews on it from people that I trust their opinions when it first launched a while back. And this is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Complete Under Eye Concealer. So it comes in a little tube like this. It says it's full coverage, waterproof, transfer resistant, up to 24-hour wear. Lots and lots of claims. I got the shade number 20 Sand. Very hard for me to determine the shade in a lot of drugstore items online because you know, a lot of times I will go with like light to medium or medium, but a lot of them have actual colors like, well, these does have medium, but then it has honey and sand, and the colors aren't very consistent with what they actually are. So hopefully this is going to work. But this is number 20 sand. It has just a pretty normal doe foot applicator. I can feel going on that it's a little bit drier in consistency. So I'm going to work one eye at a time, and I'm going to blend this in. This sponge is technically Drugstore as well. This is the e.l.f. Beauty Sponge. And y'all, I have not used anything else in well over, I'm probably 2 years now. If I got like a beauty blender or something sent to me, I would use that. But this is my favorite sponge, and it's $5 at Ulta. So I'll link that too. Okay, this way you can see the coverage too. It's got good coverage. I've had fuller coverage, but I've definitely had less coverage concealers. It blended in nice. I do think the color is going to work, but it is more of like a moussey texture. I'm interested to see, I'm going to put just a little bit like on my cheeks. I'm interested to see how it wears throughout the day. And because most of these are first impressions, I will put notes down in the description box as to how it wore throughout the day. But just because it's like a moussey texture doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be super matte or cracky and crunchy and all those C words that we don't like under our eye. Creasy. It's all C's, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, even this is like not as easy to blend out because I waited just a few seconds after applying it. So I do think that this is something that you need to work fairly fast with. Do one eye at a time because it does seem to dry down quickly. That might be a good thing for people that don't want to set their under eyes, because I can envision this being something that's going to dry down and set itself fairly quickly. Let's let all of that sink into the skin while we move on to the eyes. So I got one of these, definitely not new. I think I might be the last person on the planet to have gotten one or tried one. And it certainly isn't because of price, because these suckers are like $3. It's the Bite Size eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. And this one is in cream and sugar. So that's what it looks like. It's got 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. This matte is going to be a little light for any kind of crease shade. So I'll go ahead and show you the blush palette I got. And I do believe this one is new. This is from CoverGirl, and it's their Clean Fresh line, which I have a few things from and enjoy. And this is their Dream in Pink blush palette, which, let's be honest, y'all, this is not pink. This is not pink. Like this middle shade, maybe like a neutral pink. These other shades are not pink at all. This is vegan and talc free. It doesn't have any parabens, sulfates, phthalates, formaldehyde, or mineral oil. So I think I'm going to use one of these in my crease. I'm going to mix these 2 shades right here. See how those work on the eyes. I feel like when I knocked the excess off, most of the product came off, but we'll see. Now it's showing up. It's a very smooth powder. I can tell that just from applying it on the eyes. It's blending in nicely. I know they don't market this as an eyeshadow palette, but I often, very often, use blush as eyeshadow. And since this has 3 different shades in it, it's perfect. It's almost like a mini eyeshadow palette like the e.l.f. one. Next thing I got, I already took out of the box because I wanted to swatch it, but I have not used it yet. This is also from e.l.f. and it is their No Budge Shadow Stick. Love shadow sticks. I've used them many of times on this channel, many times on Instagram. I've talked about how they're one of my favorite fast, go-to, easy products for eye looks. And y'all know I had to get the copper one. This is called Copper Chic. So to kind of compare this to one that you may be familiar with me talking about all the time, the Laura Mercier Copper is my favorite shadow stick of all time. I've gone through multiple ones of those. This is darker than that, and it's not as shimmery. So it doesn't have, I mean, it's got a sheen to it, but it's definitely not metallic. So I'm going to put this down. This may be covered up entirely. I just am wanting to try it out and see what it's like. It's not very copper. In fact, it looks, I'm just going to blend it out before it dries too fast. See how blendable it is. It's okay. It's a little drier than some other shadow sticks. It's a really pretty color, but I would not call it copper. It's more of like a brown. I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but I do like how when you first get it, it is in a nice point. So it's easy to kind of manipulate it in the crease. Obviously that's not going to stay that way after you use it, but there is a sharpener in the bottom, which I always appreciate for pencils that come with a point. There's sometimes I get a pencil, like an eyeshadow stick that comes pointed like that, and it's great, and you use it and it dulls down, and they don't give you any way to sharpen it easily, because these obviously aren't going to go into a traditional pencil sharpener. The first impressions on that, it's pretty. I like it. It's a little bit, it's easy to blend. It's not as easy as some others that I have, but I can tell that it's going to stay for a while because of how it's drying down. I would just say it's not really a copper color. It's pretty. It's got a little bit of a copper in it, but to me, it's more of like a brown copper. Now I'm going to take this little bite-sized eyeshadow Cream and Sugar, and I'm going to use this darker shimmer shade, and I'm going to put that all over. Okay, now, why have I been sleeping on these little palettes? I know y'all are all going to tell me, oh my goodness, yes, I have them. I love them. Look at that pigment. That is impressive. And this isn't even like a flat brush. This is a fluffy brush. So if you use like a finger or a flat brush, you're going to get even more pigment. And that's one time into the palette. Okay. Oh, very pretty. Now I'm going to go into the darkest brown color, pick up a little bit, because I know now how pigmented these shades are, and just put a little bit out in this outer corner. Y'all, these palettes are fabulous. And I'm going to take a little bit of that same brown shade and line the eyes. To have as much pigment as these do, I have had no fallout, which is also very impressive for a $3 palette. I did not get a powder. How did I not get a powder? I don't know, but I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. I've had this in my collection. I really like it. It is a little bit more matte. I'm in the color 20 light medium, which is a little bit darker than what I would say light medium is, but it has always worked on me. If you have a favorite powder, I have a favorite powder from the drugstore. What am I saying? I don't think they carry it anymore though, so I'm not going to use it. But the flower powder, the loose powder, oh my goodness, it's so good. But if you have another favorite powder from the drugstore, please let us know down in the comment section. Because while I don't usually gravitate to drugstore items, it is not because they are not good or that they don't perform well. I think this eye look speaks for itself on that front. So, you know, I always like people to tell me if they have found something they like. So for bronzer, I actually have two new ones, but one I used in yesterday's Instagram Get Ready With Me. I'll put my handle if you're not following me there. I also saved them in my highlights. So I don't know what I will have saved that one as because I haven't posted it yet, but I use the new Physicians Formula Cake Butter Bronzer in that one, but I also got the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder, and this is in the color Suntan, and it is silky matte. I don't know what brush is going to work best, so I'm going to start out using my big fluffy Refer brush. I feel like somebody's probably going to ask me my favorite brushes from the drugstore, and that would be Real Techniques. And the reason I'm not using them now is because I carry a lot of them in my kit. So they are housed nice and safe and clean, ready for my next job in my kit. I love them. I have not used one that I didn't like. Okay, this is a really pretty color. It's applying very nicely. I like a good like bronzer with some sheen, but I think everybody needs a matte bronzer in their collection, even if you have dry skin, because I just think that it's good to have variety. It's good to have something with a little bit of a sheen. It's good to have something that's matte. It's good to have 500 of each, which seems to be my collection, but you know. For highlight, I got this massive highlight from Undone Beauty called Nonzer. I've tried some other things from Undone Beauty in the past, and I liked some of them. I didn't like some of them. This is very, very large. I will never use this purple shade highlight for a highlight. but I could see myself using it as an eyeshadow, but really I'm gonna concentrate on these three. There they are right there. Very, very, very highlighty. I have been really into cream highlights lately. I love that skin-like look, so hopefully this won't be too much. I love this second shade because it's peach, and that's my favorite. It may be a little too dark, so I'm gonna mix this top shade with that peach shade. I mean, holy cow. That is way more than I wanted. Don't know that I love it. It's a little more than I typically go for, especially lately, but we will see how it looks once everything's on. I'm gonna go back into this CoverGirl palette, and I'm gonna use the same two shades on my cheeks as I used on my eyes to keep everything cohesive. I love this shade for deeper skin tones or for an eyeshadow. Can you see that color? That's very pretty. And while I have this out, I'm gonna use those same two shades for my under eye and smoking that out. If I wanted it to be a darker look, I would take a little bit of that dark brown underneath and then smoke it out with these two colors. But since it's daytime, I'm gonna stick with just this. And then because I wanna try it, I'm gonna use this little bit lighter shade that is in the e.l.f. palette as my inner corner. Okay, so this is not Drugstore, but full disclosure, I did use my MAC Giga Black Lash on my lower lashes because that's what I use every single day. I am gonna use another product I use every single day, and this is my Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pen. This is in Black Noir, and I use this, again, every single day that I wear mascara, even on some days that I don't, to tightline. Now, this is the best pencil in my opinion for this step. It does not bother my eyes. It does not transfer. It stays all day long, and it removes easily with just a little swipe of my cotton pad that has my eye makeup remover or, you know, cleansing oil or whatever you use to, you know, remove your eye makeup. When I do makeup lessons and I do this step, people are so scared of it. And I get it. It takes some time. I could do it without a mirror. You get used to it. But what I recommend is if you are not used to tight lining, I would start doing it every night before you wash your face, because inevitably you'll probably get some on your lid. It's probably going to go everywhere the first couple of times. Keep doing it until you're more comfortable with it. And after a couple of weeks, you'll be able to not use a mirror too. And to me, it makes a huge difference on how thick the lashes look. At least as I get older, and I have noticed on older clients as well, our eyelids almost kind of flip up sometimes. And that little strip of flesh that our eyelashes grow out of seems to be more prominent. So when you add that on there, it just makes a world of difference, I promise. So I did get a new mascara. Y'all, I have so many mascaras open, but I'm gonna open another one. And this is from Revlon, and it's called So Fierce Big Bad Lash. I do think this is newer. It's been out for a hot minute, but it's definitely not something that's been out forever. It says extreme volume and lash effect. 84% saw lashes volumized from root to tip. So we shall see. It comes in a big chunky tube, and it has an hourglass shaped brush, which sometimes can be good, sometimes not. So we shall see. I'm not using any primer. I'm just going straight on the lashes. Definitely not a wet formula. I can tell that from the get-go, which typically just means that I need to work with them a little bit more to build up the product on lashes. Okay, so I did put I would say 2.5 to 3 coats, but that is this lash with just the mascara, no primer or anything, and then that without. Okay, so that's both lashes done. Again, it's a little bit of a drier formula. I did not have to do any additional separating, but it did take a little bit more to build it up. Some people prefer drier formulas. If that's you, might be one to look at. I have so many mascaras that I love. I will have to wear this throughout the day and see if it's a love or not. And I will put down how it wore, if it smudged, if it flaked, and how easy it was to remove, because those are all very important factors in whether or not I am going to continue to use a mascara. So the last thing we have is lips. And I bought 2 of these Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousses. I mean, just the name is happy. I bought Cloud Chaser, which, surprise, surprise, is a nude pink. I know, you're so surprised. And then this one is called Marshmallow Madness. I got this one because I felt like for a fall look, it would be appropriate. It's a little bit darker than I normally go for, but I'm gonna do it, y'all. I'm gonna take one for the team. That is Marshmallow Madness. So this is matte, but it says that it's light as a cloud, buildable, blendable, has a sweet marshmallow scent, but it's also got argan oil, avocado oil, vitamin E to help moisturize, and it also has hyaluronic acid. So let's try this. I have noticed just swatching that a lot of product does not come out on the doe foot. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We shall see. It does have a marshmallow scent. Is there anybody out there that doesn't like a marshmallow scent? I haven't met anybody. I'm sure there is, but I don't hate it. It's very, very easy to apply. It smells amazing. I can tell that it's going to be matte though, and y'all know I'm not a super matte lover, so I am going to go in with my favorite drugstore lip gloss, and this is from Milani. Definitely not new to me. You can see it's halfway gone, and I'm going to apply some of that on top. This is in the shade Champagne. This is called Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper, but it is not an uncomfortable lip plumper at all. So that's it. That is the completed drugstore look, and y'all, I'm not mad at it. Let's go through real quick. My favorite so far is the entire eye look. I love everything that I used on my eyes. I really like this blush palette for the eyes and the cheeks. I really like the bronzer, and I like this so far. I will, again, put everything down in the description box as to how it wore, how I ended up liking it at the end of the day. I'm not quite sure about the concealer. It's not giving me as much coverage as I would like, but again, I will update y'all. So let me know what your favorite drugstore product is that you will be using this fall down in the comment section. I will list and link everything I used in the description box. I do use affiliate links. It helps me immensely if you use them, so I appreciate that in advance. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.